Hello there everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video we are going to be talking about unused concepts and deleted scenes that would have changed a lot in the Star Wars universe. So some of these are deleted scenes that were filmed and edited, but some of these are ideas that went nowhere and others are based off of concept art. First unused concept that we will be talking about today was an idea George Lucas pitched then quickly decided to go in a different direction with. This idea was an alternate ending he was considering using in Return of the Jedi. Remember the scene after Anakin returns and kills Palpatine? Luke drags Anakin away from the throne and tries to help him escape on an Imperial shuttle. Knowing he will die, Anakin asks for Luke to take his helmet off so he can see him with his own eyes. He tells him that Luke saved him and that Luke was right. There is still good in him. It's a beautiful scene, one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. It really ties together Anakin's story from the prequels and the story from the originals together. But what if that scene went in a completely different direction? What if Luke became the very thing he swore to destroy? George pitched the idea of Luke taking Darth Vader's helmet once Anakin died, putting it on and saying, "Now I am Vader. I will go and I will kill the fleet. I will rule the universe." His co-writer, Lawrence Kasdan, liked the idea, saying that they should go with it. George quickly decided that they shouldn't go with it. He decided to give the film a more hopeful ending. What do you think about this concept? It's pretty dark, but it would have been kinda cool to see. It really reminds me of the Dark Empire comic series. I made a video on that a little bit ago. You should check it out once you finish this video. Next, we will be talking about deleted scenes involving Padme Amidala. They would have taken place in Revenge of the Sith. In Revenge of the Sith, many people didn't like how Padme, one of the main protagonists of the first films, wasn't really in Revenge of the Sith all that much. There were several scenes and even a B-plot with Padme that were filmed, but never made it into the final film. If you've ever seen the Clone Wars, you probably know that Padme has like-minded political allies that she worked closely with. In a deleted scene, we would have seen Padme talking to other politicians about Palpatine and what has become of the Republic. Some are familiar faces, one being Bail Organa and another being a young Mon Mothma. This would have been the Rebel Alliance's earliest stage. The birth of the Alliance. Mon Mothma tells the group that they can't talk about what they've done and said in the meeting. They can't tell anyone, including family. Padme agrees, which means she would have kept the secret from Anakin. In another scene, we would have seen them talking to Palpatine. They confront him about some of the decisions he's made. Palpatine appointed regional governors to govern certain areas, and he's made several other amendments to the Constitution. He assures them that everything will be alright and they leave. The next part is very interesting. Anakin was with Palpatine this entire scene. When they leave, Palpatine tells Anakin that they are conspiring against him. Surely Senator Amidala can be trusted, he says. Palpatine tells him that he thinks the senator is trying to hide something. Anakin says he disagrees. This is really interesting. If this had been put into the movie, it really would have changed how I viewed Padme, Anakin, and their relationship at this time. There definitely would have been some conflict between the two of them. So why weren't these scenes put in the movie? I think there are two reasons. Number one, I think it was cut for time. There were supposedly enough scenes written to create a 4-hour movie. Secondly, this is just my guess, people don't like how much time the first two movies spent on politics, committee meetings, and stuff like that. It personally never bothered me. It helped advance the plot and show the collapse of the Republic. These deleted scenes would have done an amazing job at showing Palpatine's rise to power, but I totally understand why they took them out. The next unused concept we're going to talk about comes from an earlier draft for A New Hope. In A New Hope, as everyone knows, Obi-Wan Kenobi sacrifices himself on board the Death Star to save Han, Luke, and Leia, and allow the stolen Death Star plans to get to the Rebel base. Obi-Wan was then able to become a Force Ghost and help guide Luke for the next 8 years. However, Obi-Wan was originally going to survive the duel. There are many different versions of how he would have survived, but one of them involves him cutting a safety lock on the door and shutting the blast door, trapping Vader inside the hallway. Then he would have escaped. This would have been really interesting to see. Luke most likely would have trained under Obi-Wan and become his Padawan, kinda like Anakin in the prequels. As cool as this would have been, Obi-Wan did become a very powerful Force Ghost and was still extremely helpful to Luke in that way. The next unused concept is a pretty wild one. George Lucas considered adding a 10-year-old Han Solo in Revenge of the Sith. He would have been on Kashyyyk with Chewbacca. It most likely would have just been a quick cameo. There is concept art for him though. He would have had somewhat long hair and been pretty rough looking. Obviously, they didn't go with this idea. I think this was a wise decision. As awesome as it would have been to see Han Solo, it would have made his disbelief in the Force even more confusing. Yoda and Luminar were both on Kashyyyk. It also would have changed his origin. I liked his origin. Now, I'm not talking about Solo the movie, I'm referring to the Legends novels. The next and last unused concept that we will be talking about today involves Force Ghosts. There are many things that George planned to do with Force Ghosts, abilities and things that we never saw in the movies. In this video, we will be talking about one specific ability. I might cover some of the others later. At one point in the script in Return of the Jedi, Obi-Wan and Anakin were supposed to come back to life in their human forms. This is wild. Imagine if Force ghosts could come back as normal people. No Jedi who knew how to become a Force ghost was able to be permanently killed. This would probably create plot holes and raise a ton of questions. I definitely think this is a cool idea, and Anakin being alive in the years to come would have been pretty cool. Imagine Luke, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, and others creating a new Jedi Order together, fighting Thrawn, Exar Kun, and the Yuzong Vong. We also might have gotten to see full power Anakin, if he returned to a body with all of his limbs. What do you guys think about this concept? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? So those are the unused concepts and deleted scenes that didn't end up in the Star Wars movies. Most of those would definitely have changed Star Wars, or at least changed the way we view certain parts of Star Wars.